Now we all adore a little piece of silver. And what could be better? Well, I'll tell you, enamelled silver could be better. And why don't we have a chat about such? I have a few little objects here to hand, which I think will give you an idea of the spectrum of techniques involved and the range of object that you can acquire or aspire to acquire. Now, here we have a little silver powder compact. Perfectly straightforward. Yeah, for the youth and the men that don't know what a powder compact is. It's something the ladies would have carried about their person and would carry a powder to essentially conceal, or rouge or whatever. Okay, it's cosmetics. Lovely little object. Now an example in silver with this engine turn decoration here, commoner garden, not a problem. Find one of those comfortably, change from £50. However, behold this. Plain silver one side, but another on the other we have got this polychrome band. I'll explain that in a mo. And this applied device. Well, if you know what you're looking at, and many of you may do, you'll recognise this as the badge of the 5th Regiment of Foot, the Northumberland Fusiliers. And if this is a regimental piece, then I can tell you that this coloured band here represents the colours of the regiment, and this would be worn as a flash perhaps on the side of a puggree. That's the wrapping around a tropical helmet. I'm sure you can picture it. But why, Laidlaw, is a soldier of the Northumberland Fusiliers carrying about their person a very feminine powder compact? Well, I put it to you that this soldier, back in the day, no misogyny here folks, back in the day, perhaps had a sister, hopefully a sweetheart, and certainly a mother. So this would be a gift given with great pride, we carried with pride, by a relation or a sweetheart. But there's another option. Given the states to the period of the Second World War, this could have been carried by a member of the Auxiliary Territorial Service, women serving with the army. One such, attached to the Northumberland Fusiliers, would have taken great pride in owning such an emblazoned powder compact. Lovely thing, is it not? But we're talking about enamel. Let's look at the techniques here. Look at this ribbon or flash, call it what you will. We've got the three colours. We've got the buff here. That's in a solid colour. You can't see through it. It's opaque. But if you look closely, trust me here, this central maroon or purplish stripe is translucent glass. And what you see through it are ribs or horizontal parallel lines that have been engraved on the underlying silver. This technique is called Basse-Taille enamelling, where the enamel is translucent, allowing you to glimpse through the enamel an underlying decoration typically engraved into the silver. Why the lines? Well, this is imitating, with a degree of sophistication, the construction of the ribbon or flash that it apes. It would have been woven in a silk or satin-like fabric, and what we're seeing here is an imitation of the woven nature of the original ribbon. Sophisticated and delightful. There's further enamelling, of course. We have got this, we'll call it a little annulus that bears the motto of the 5th of Foot, and the blue enamel there is translucent. If you look through it, it is glorious. So there you have it, 1940s. Engine turned an enamelled silver powder compact with a military association and exhibiting Basse-Taille enamelling. This is a Breloque. What's a Breloque? A Breloque's a fancy name for a fob, something that would be hung from a gentleman's watch chain that is commonly decorative, generally decorative and practical. This little box, because a box it is, was intended to carry a postage stamp. Be prepared, ladies and gentlemen, and look at the quality of this. So there you have it, proof if proof were needed. Got a little clasp here, open it up. There you'd get your little penny stamp or whatever. It's embossed on the back. It says there, what does it say there? That has a number on it, DRGM. That tells us it's German. That says the design was registered, okay? Deutsches Reich Gebrauchmuster specifically. So there's a registration number there. But we look at the front and we see this exquisite representation of a Swiss 25 franc stamp with an imitation franc dated 1900. And what a joy. Now, is this painted? What is it? This is also glass enamel, ladies and gentlemen. What happened here was this is a means to reproducing exquisite enamelling with ease. First of all, a layer of white glass was applied, and then that could be essentially painted, or I think in this instance transfer printed, over that decoration. Another layer of colourless transparent glass was applied. That's the technique. The effect is delicious, ladies and gentlemen. Make no bones about it. I adore that. Watch out for forgeries and fakes. You see all sorts of silver objects emblazoned with commonly glamorous ladies aping what would be commonly highly valuable period pieces, but they are mass produced today, can fool the naive and unwary. Generally these are printed plastic. Easy way to tell, rub it on your tooth, that's glass-like. Hard and smooth, polished. But the plastic printed ones, believe me, they are out there. You will stumble across one. It feels like plastic. The teeth bite into it. Okay, so enough of the germs. A little late 19th, early 20th century Breloque, a little box to be carried on the end of one's watch chain, perhaps, carrying a spare postage stamp or two and depicting that Swiss 25 franc stamp of 1900. Made in Germany. What an absolute joy. Now, so we covered Basse-Taille enamelling and then that painting or printed technique. I'm going to come to this one now. Now, what do we have here? That's a silver cigarette box. It dates to 1934 to about 44. It's Italian. There's a little fasces mark. The fasces being that bundle of logs or branches centred by an axe and belt tied. It was a common device during the classical Roman period and adopted by fascists, Italian fascists for one, during the 1930s and 1940s. It was also used as a silver standard mark during that period, so it allows us to date it and identify its origin. So there you have it, pretty ubiquitous foliate scroll decoration there. But look at this enamelling here, ladies and gentlemen. So here we have and this is glorious by any measure. We've got this stylized basket of flowers here on this foliate, almost arabesque ground, this very dense ground. And you would say to yourself, aha, look at that blue stuff there. I'll bet you that's glass enamel, just like the others that he demonstrated or showed us a moment ago. However, this is a different technique. We've referred to Basse-Taille enamelling. Here we have Plique-a-jour enamelling. Plique-a-jour, a glimpse of the day is one way to translate it from the French. Watch this. Here's some sunlight, ladies and gentlemen, some artificial sunlight. So there's your little blue enamel. Look at that. Is that not joyous? So previously, our Basse-Taille enamelling, the glass enamel flooded a decorative silver ground. In this instance, the lid is actually fretted, it's pierced, and the enamel floods those cells. And more than one way to do it. How on earth do you do that? Well, you could use the viscosity of the glass, almost capillary action or surface tension. The glass fills the fields here much as the soapy water would fill the little hoop of your bubble blowing toy. There's another means. What you can do is actually engrave your pattern, create your cells, and leave a solid bag in silver or in another medium, and then we enamel it and remove the bag by acid etching or mechanically removing it. Too much detail there, I suspect, but what I wanted to show you here was this other aspect of enamelling. Plique-a-jour, a glimpse of the day. One last look. Is that not joyous, ladies and gentlemen? My goodness. Difficult to do, fragile, and expensive to buy in its day in the 1930s. Less so today, I put it to you. Now, shall we go large? Let's go large. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. What's that? Is that not Basse-Taille enamelling, Paul? I'm sure that's Basse-Taille enamelling. It is indeed. What a joy, ladies and gentlemen. This exquisite, shimmering, translucent blue, revealing that shell-like, sunrise-like, curvilinear engine turn decoration. That is the epitome of Basse-Taille enamelling of this period, those interwar years, the 1920s, 1930s. Imagine that adorning your dressing table. Last of the offering today. Very similar, entirely different aesthetic. Not Basse-Taille enamelling, but this solid chinoiserie enamelling, aping the chinoiserie of the 18th century. What an absolute joy. Again, an assortment of brushes and a hand mirror and comb, but my goodness, look at that. I adore that. Imagine the table that adorned in 1930. It'd be a rich one, a glamorous one. This is all hugely expensive, is it not? Mere mortals like you and I can't afford toys like this. On the contrary, this is so buyable, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we talk numbers? Let's get all grubby and talk pounds, shillings and pence. Reduce everything to money. Where do we start? We start with a little powder compact there. It's a joy, is it not? It'd be good value at 50. You'll certainly buy that for £100 at auction. I don't think you have any problem getting it for between £50 and £100. What a romantic and lovely thing with a great backstory. Then we go to our little fob stamp holder there, another pretty little object. Do you know, I'm going to say it's worth a similar sum, £50 to £100. Now, this isn't a lot of money, is it? Doesn't buy a great night out, that sort of money. Your Italian 1930s Plique-a-jour cigarette case, on the other hand, that really is rich. A rare survivor. 1 to 200. It's buyable at that. That's not a lot. You would say this, of course. It's all relative. Dressing table sets. These I commend to you because they've become good value over the last, let's say, 20 years. Once upon a time, there's quite a bit of silver here. It's an impressive thing, a wonderful gift and a treat to yourself. You would need a big budget historically to acquire this, but you know, at auction these slip through these days. I think people see them as old-fashioned. They're icky about brushes, and your dressing table is probably too much of a clutter to stick something as fine as this on. But you could tidy the dressing table and enjoy this. What budget would you need? £150 to £250 will buy most of these that come to auction. And if you're lucky, 1 to 2, I think that's incredible value. Put some style, put some history, put some glamour into your life. So there's a little glimpse into the world of enamelled silver. We've looked at a few different techniques. We've looked at a variety of objects that you can aspire to, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope I've demonstrated the incredible value for money they represent. There you go. What do you think of that?